Hare. Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. Yeah, that'd be great. Sorry, thank you. Yeah. So today we'll be studying the Srimad Bhagavatam. And let's see here. So we heard the last class was about the qualities of a sadhu. I think that was number 22, right? Now 22? Okay. Because, can anybody double confirm? 22. Thank you very much. Okay, from the word for word. Mai Ananyena Bhavena Bhaktim Purvanti Ye Dridham Matkrite Tyakta Karmanaha Tyakta Svajana Bandhavaha Mayananyena Bhavena Bhaktim Kurvanti Yedridham Matkrite Tyakta Karmanas Tyakta Svajana Bandhavaha Mayananyena Bhavena Bhaktim Kurvanti Yedridham Matkrite Tyakta Karmanas Tyakta Svajana Bandhavaha Mayananyena Bhavena Bhaktim Kurvanti Yedridham Matkrite Tyakta Karmanas Tyakta Svajana Bandhavaha
Mayananyena bhavena Mayananyena bhavena Mayananyena bhavena
Mayananyena bhavena
Bhaktim kurvanti yedridham
Bhaktim kurvanti yedham
Adkrite tyakta karmanas
Atkrite tyakta karmanas
Shaktasvajana bandavaha
Yaktasvajana bandhava
Mayanyena bhavena
Mayananyena bhavena Mayananyena
Bhaktim
bhavena
kurvanti yedridham
Bhaktim kurvanti yedham
Madkrite tyakta karmanas
Matkrite tyakta karmanas
Tyakta swajana bandavaha
Yaktasvajana bandhava
Mayananyena bhavena
Mayananyena bhavena
Bhaktim kurvanti yedinam
Bhaktim kurvanti yedham
Madkrite tyakta karmanas
Matkrite tyakta karmanas
Yaktasvajana bandavaha
Yaktasvajana bandhava
Mayananyena bhavena
Mayananyena bhavena
Bhaktim kurvanti yedinam
Bhaktim kurvanti yedham
Madkrite tyakta karmanas
Matkrite tyakta karmanas Yaktasvajana bandhava Mayananyena bhavena Mayananyena bhavena Bhaktim kurvanti yedham Bhaktim kurvanti yedham Matkrite tyakta karmanas Matkrite tyakta karmanas Yaktasvajana bandhava Yaktasvajana bandhava
Mayananyena bhavena
Mayananyena bhavena
Bhaktim kurvanti yedidam
Bhaktim kurvanti yedham
Madkrite tyakta karmanas
Matkrite tyakta karmanas
Tyakta swajana bandhavaha
Yaktasvajana bandhava Mayananyena bhavena Mayananyena bhavena Bhaktim kurvanti yedham Bhaktim kurvanti yedham Matkrite tyakta karmanas Matkrite tyakta karmanas Yaktasvajana bandhava Yaktasvajana bandhava Mayananyena bhavena Bhaktim kurvanti yedham Matkrite tyakta karmanas Yaktasvajana bandhava Mayananyena bhavena Bhaktim kurvanti yedham Matkrite tyakta karmanas Yaktasvajana bandhava
Mayananyena bhavena
Mayananyena bhavena
bhaktim kurvanti ye tridam
Bhaktim kurvanti yedham
matkrite tyakta karmanas
Matkrite tyakta karmanas
tyakta svajana bandhavaha.
Yaktasvajana bandhava
Hare Krishna. May anyena bhavena
Mayananyena bhavena
bhaktim kurvanti ye dridham
Bhaktim kurvanti yedham
matkrite tyaktva karmanas
Makrite Jakta Karmanas
Yaktah svajana bandhavaha.
Jakta Svajana Bandhava. That's everyone.
Ananyena bhavena, with undeviated mind, bhaktim, devotional service, kurvanti, perform, ye, those who, dridham, staunch, matkrite, for my sake, tyakta, renounced, karmanaha, activities, tyakta, renounced, svajana, family relationships, bandhavaha, friendly acquaintances. Translation. Such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such as family relationships and friendly acquaintances within the world. Purport. A person in the renounced order of life, a sannyasi, is also called a sadhu because he renounces everything: his home, his comfort, his friends, his relatives, and his duties to friends and family. He renounces everything for the sake of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A sannyasi is generally in the renounced order of life, but his renunciation will be successful only when his energy is employed in the service of the Lord with great austerity. It is said here, therefore, bhaktim kurvanti ye dridham. A person who seriously engages in the service of the Lord and is in the renounced order of life is a sadhu. A sadhu is one who has given up all responsibility to society, family, and worldly humanitarianism simply for the service of the Lord. As soon as he takes his birth in the world, a person has so many responsibilities and obligations to the public, to the demigods, to the great sages, to the general living beings, to his parents, to the family forefathers, and to many others. When he gives up all such obligations for the sake of the service of the Supreme Lord, he is not punished for such renunciation of obligation. But if, for sense gratification, a person renounces all such obligations, he is punished by the law of nature. So, sorry about that. Some leaves there. Okay. So Maharaj, we'd love to hear some of your comments here. If it's possible for some devotee to watch that, that'd be great. So such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such as family relationships and friendly acquaintances within the world. So this verse is intrinsically connected with the last statement, and this verse that we heard on Thursday is a very famous verse. So we'll just read the translation to that one, and we'll do the Sanskrit because it's very nice too. So we can do it together. Titikshasva karunika suridha sarvadehinam ajata shatrava shanta sadhava sadhubhushana. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. So then, 22, such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all other connections, such as family relationships and friendly acquaintances within the world. So, this is a very high platform, obviously. And Prabhupada in the purport, he mentions the intention. There's this word for. For is a very powerful word. But if, it says, when he gives up all such obligations for the sake, right? For the sake of the service of the Supreme Lord, he is not punished for such renunciation of obligation. But if for sense gratification, or we could expand it, but if for the sake of his personal sense gratification, a person renounces all such obligations, he is punished by the law of nature. And so this is coming exactly from the verse where he says, where Kapila Dev is saying, Mat krite, for my sake, for my sake. And actually this is very, very actually essential to this science of Bhakti Yoga, is the purpose. And if we answer this question again and again and again, what is my purpose, then we can at least be conscious, you know. Many times we're acting, and we're acting under the modes of nature, and such activities are actually performed in forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. And in this material world, all the conditioned living entities are verily acting for their own personal pleasure, you know. And actually, this is a condemned consciousness. It's a condemned state of life. But we can understand the sadhu's business is not necessarily to condemn, right? He is himself condemned by the laws of nature, isn't it? Why shall the sadhu condemn him further, right? The sadhu is actually interested in karunika, right? Suridha, sarvadehinam, all those people who are inside of those bodies, right? He's actually wants to be their best friend. Surid means basically this intense softness of the heart that we have for somebody. Means, you know, they actually feel that this person's suffering is actually my suffering, right? It said, what is it? That dukkha dukhi, para dukkha dukhi. My highest suffering is the suffering of others, right? This is somebody, Prahlad Maharaj, he was a sadhu, you know, even before he took the renounced order. And he went on as a perfect living entity, as a perfectly self-realized sadhu. He actually went on to actually accept family life, you know. So, though what's being mentioned here, and in general, actually, it is the general procedure for a living entity to progress through the different stages of ashram, and then they can progressively move through these different stages of renunciation, and simultaneously the only way to get higher levels of renunciation is through staunch devotional service. So generally that's the program which is recommended in the Vedic scriptures, and especially it's described that the Brahmanas, those who are in a Brahminical class, they can take all the ashrams. Those who are in the Kshatriya class, they can take up to the Vanaprastha ashram. Those who are in the Vaishya class, they can, like that. They may not even go in Vanaprastha, like that. These types of things. Or the Shudras, they don't even take brahmachari. They don't get any training. They just go for grihastha, right? But in our movement, everybody's getting trained in the science of devotional service, which is the only platform for renunciation in Kali Yuga. That's a fact. Without devotional service in the Sankirtan movement, it's said that Kalo Shudra Sambhava, we're all born Shudras, and then as soon as we're born in this world of Ugra Karma, we're immediately entangled in so many different sinful activities which actually degrade our consciousness into even lower modes, and rightfully we don't even have a place in the Varnashram system. We're actually subhuman, actually. No, as soon as we take to devotional service, right, especially under the protection of a sadhu, then such a person is immediately elevated to the level of a Vaishnava. And there's an amazing verse. It talks about the different classes of beings, humans, which are around the world. Pulkasha, Kirata, Hundira, like all this. And by taking shelter of the sadhu, of the devotee of the Lord, then they can immediately be raised to the perfectional state. So this is the power of the sadhu. And like I said, by our entanglement in the modes of nature, especially in this Kali Yuga, because the modes of passion and ignorance are practically rampant, unrestricted, practically completely, then we're already condemned. So sometimes Prabhu would even say, Krishna comes to kill the demons, right? Actually, he doesn't come to kill the demons because they're already dead. By their life, they're actually dead already. There's no need to kill them. They are killing themselves, actually. But why does he come? He comes to save them. And this is discussed, that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam. And you want to quote it, somebody? Sango Prayar Yujanti Sumedasa. Right. So he comes with his associates, which are called Astra, right? Isn't it? There's Shastra. So Prabhupada describes there's something called Shasdhatu. It's a part of Sanskrit, and he says this shas is this word, and it refers to the Shastra and the Shastra. We can follow the Shastra, which is discussed in text 21. The sadhu, he follows the Shastra, and that's actually given that sadhava. Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. He's adorned with the sublime characteristics, one of which is he Sadhava. He abides by the scriptures. Right? So if somebody abides by the Shastra, then you don't need to go and encourage them with the Shastra, the weapons, right? Like we hear Krishnastra, like Krishnastra, like, isn't that how it's said? This is weapon that Lord Shiva, and he had this weapon. I forgot what the name of that one was. Do you remember, Prabhu? Jwara? So basically Lord Shiva, when they were fighting, right, after Lord Krishna took the Parijata flower from the heavenly planets, then is that the Leela? Isn't it? Oh, Shiva Dwara. So anyway, yeah, I think that's the pastime. But basically, Lord Krishna, and he has these weapons, and we know about the Brahmastra, we know Shivastra, like this, different weapons. Right? So the point is, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also brought his weapons. And what were his weapons? His weapons were his devotees, his associates. And they came to kill the demons. Right? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. So this vinashaya in this age, yep, you have something?
1 second. Okay, Maharaj.
Sadhu, he renounces everything in the material world, which means he gives up his family, duties, he renounces his wealth, he renounces his fame, all for the sake of the Lord, service for the Lord. So, but when he does that, it doesn't mean that he has no friends, and it doesn't mean that he has no wealth, or he has no family. He expands it. In other words, his renunciation only increases his connections. He travels all over the world, and he sees everyone as his family. And he makes friends with everyone in the world. He has no enemies. Ajata Shatrava Shanta. That was a verse also quoted recently. Especially Maharaj Yudhisthira is known as Ajata Shatra. He had his enemy was never born. Some people think that Maharaj Yudhisthira was their enemy, like Duryodhana. He looked at Yudhisthira as his enemy. But Yudhisthira never thought of Duryodhana as his enemy. He thought of him as his friend. He was always helping him. Even though the person didn't realize it. Like a doctor. A doctor is always helping the patient, no matter what the patient's mentality is. Even if the patient thinks that the doctor is his enemy because he's causing him pain with different injections and different types of painful experience, it's all for his good. Similarly, the Lord's devotee may appear to be causing suffering. Just like Lord Chaitanya, when he left his family and took sannyas, it's presented as practically a dreadful event. When you see the painting of that, even the barber, no one would cut his hair because they considered his hair so beautiful and enjoyable. And his family thought that now he'll have to undergo so much austerity. He won't even have a home. Sannyasi doesn't generally have a home. He's always traveling. That's the inconvenience. But for the devotee, for the staunch sannyasi or sadhu, everything becomes more blissful, more enhanced. He has more friends. His family includes now everyone. No one's excluded. And because he's doing everything for Krishna, it's not that he's losing any of his so-called assets, rather because those assets are not real, they're illusory. He's actually getting free from all the illusions that cause real suffering in this world. Therefore, he can go through the world without any distress, even at the most critical time when he has to face difficulties. There's difficulties from old age, from disease and death, or loss of association of loved ones. But all these only increase his qualities. He said that the devotee, he gets all the good qualities. They automatically come to him. Good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. Without trying. He doesn't have to make a big effort. Qualities. They automatically come. So, we don't have to feel sorry for the sadhus. Their renunciation is joyfully performed because it's based on transcendental knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Maharaj. We really appreciate that. Orientating. So, yes, such sadhus are the associates of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they spread the glories of devotional service everywhere they go, while they also staunchly engage in such devotional service. One of the angas of which is kirtan. So they do a lot of preaching, and in that way a lot of people do a lot of hearing from them, and everybody gets to do remembrance. Then we also offer prayers to the Lord, or they offer prayers to the Lord. We hear those prayers. We worship the deity. We serve the Lord as a servant and as a friend, and these persons are moving towards that position of, or have attained that position of Atma Nivedanam, having surrendered everything. Yes, Jaikesh Prabhu. Can you show him, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Can you show him on this screen?
I just want to thank Maharaj for answering my question that I was going to ask. maybe everybody else was hearing the apparent contradiction between the two verses that we were reading. He says friends to everyone, but then he has no friends. So thank you, Maharaj. I just wanted to hear more about what you're going to say about Vinashaya. You didn't get to finish your thought, and I wanted to.
Which one?
Vinashaya, the verse you were quoting from 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You had a train of thought and it was interrupted. I wanted to hear what you were going to say. Anyway,
thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, that is a very nice. He's friendly to all living entities, and he also renounces, for the sake of the Lord, all of his friendships. Friendly acquaintances. So my point was just that the Lord brings his weapons with him when he descends in his form as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the sadhus form some of his primary weapons, and it was connected with this point of being merciful towards those who are living in a condemned position of life. And in this, especially in this Kali Yuga, we try to destroy or kill their demonic mentality, right? But the sadhus actually do that with mercy, with kindness, with transcendental instruction, with transcendental knowledge. And ultimately, they give their friendship to us, the conditioned souls, and through that friendship, we actually take up devotional service, and we take to the process of sadhu sangha, and we start engaging in loving exchanges with the sadhus instead of the asat, and by that association, we cross over the ocean of material nescience. In this human form of life, Durlabha Manava Janma Satsange Tarohe Bhavasindure. Right? So that was my idea. We're very lucky to be part of this movement, and there's so many sadhus who are exemplary, exemplars of renunciation for the Lord's pleasure, and we hope that we can serve such great souls and develop such dridham, this bhaktim kurvanti ye dridham. We want to also be such persons who perform devotional service unto the Lord ananyena bhavena, with undeviated mind. So thank you, everybody. Does anybody else have something else? Did you? No? Yes.
Okay, the last sentence it says, but if sense gratification a person renounces all such obligation, he is punished by the law of nature. So I just wanted to make a comment. I was just listening to the class of Radhana Swami, and he was saying it to all the devotees that when we are trying to develop ourselves in Krishna consciousness, then sometimes there are also in the Bhaktilata beach also some weeds grow. Now these weeds are like, you want some praise and prestige and name and fame and all those things. So sometimes people get misled and they start feeding those weeds rather than feeding the Bhaktilata bija, which is the main thing. We have to actually uproot the weeds. But on the contrary, the way around happens, and that is what this sentence actually means. Then you are being punished. You may become a big person in a society or in a any other place, and you are taking up all the appraisals and praises and everything from people for the sake that you want to become the top person, respected, very well respected, like a sadhu, this way, that way. But ideally, you're trying to feed your wits rather than your bhakti lita biji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. We have to carefully guard against such weeds, and there's a science to that. We can learn about that also from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And actually, we can take this, mat krite, for my sake. We have to perform our activities for Krishna's sake, whether it's eating, working, renouncing. That's discussed in the Gita. So we pray to their Lordship Sri Sri Gaur Nitai and Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nrsimhadev, Tulsi Maharani, all the Vaishnavacharyas, and Srila Prabhupada, that if they so desire, we can perform all of our activities simply for the Lord's pleasure as soon as possible, and we can stay in that consciousness without any deviation for eternity. Thank you for considering our request. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the Sama devotees.